That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at Wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello, I'm Monica Reinagel, host of the Nutrition Diva podcast. Summer is here, and with it, the hot and sticky weather. A morning working in the garden or maybe on the golf course can leave you more depleted than you realize, and plain water isn't always the most efficient way to restore the balance. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Its science-backed formula is clinically proven to hydrate faster than water alone. Whether you're exercising, playing outside, or simply surviving a summer heat wave, it's an easy way to stay hydrated. Shop now at liquidiv.com. Liquid IV, hydration that goes wherever life takes you.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature. It calls to us. Whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes, nature makes all of our lives richer, calmer, and frankly, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby or trails worth traveling to, and explore confidently with offline maps and on-trail navigation. Whether you're looking for a laid-back walk with family or something more adventurous to get your heart pumping, All Trails gives you the tools you need to get out there and find your outside. Download the free app today and make the most of your summer with All Trails.
Welcome to Limited Time Only.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Susie.
Limited Time Only is the podcast for anyone who feels there aren't enough hours in their life.
And each week there's a different topic for you to get your ears around.
Featuring chat, comedy sketches and interviews with interesting people.
Limited Time Only is a pick-me-up in podcast form.
The special guest later in the episode is Starling. This week it's time for Being Iconic.
I know if you're listening to this, you can't see this. And actually, I haven't put any of the episodes on YouTube for absolutely ages. Because it's just another level of work.
Yeah.
But I will get round to it. But I'll put an image on Instagram. I'm wearing some headphone sprouts that were crocheted by some very talented teenagers that I know. Well, I've only met them this weekend, but they are excellent. And they are Morag and Mary Wilson, daughters of my university friend Greg and his lovely wife Aileen. Just putting a little advert out there. And they make these amazing little crocheted things.
So cute.
And I bought some crocheted headphone sprouts to help with Mary's quest to go to Namibia with her school.
Oh, wow.
So I was helping a charitable fund and ending up looking quite iconic at the same time.
I think you look really iconic, and like those girls sound iconic.
They are iconic.
Mary, they sound like they should have their own show.
Yeah,
Mary,
they're pretty cool, I would say.
Yeah.
In terms of teenagers I've met, I would rate them pretty near the top.
Yeah,
not counting my own teenage nephew.
Yes,
and godson.
Yes.
But yeah, they're up there. They do so many cool things and are very talented and very personable and chatty. And they didn't think I was completely dull. And that, to me, is the mark of an excellent teenager. You
How they feel about
to
you?
A grown up. Well, not me, maybe me specifically. I mean, talking to me is a challenge.
No.
But they manage very well for several hours. So... yeah.
I don't think anybody could ever describe you as dull. You're not dull in the slightest.
Not with these headphones on.
Not with those sprouts.
Brilliant. But this could be my look now.
It could.
Couldn't it? It could become iconic in the annals of time.
There could be like silhouette pictures and people would go, well, that's definitely Susie.
Is it Mickey Mouse or, I don't know, someone with a bow on the head? No, that's Susie and the Sprouts.
Susie and the Sprouts.
It's like a band,
that's a band. Susie and the Sprouts.
Are you the Sprout?
Well, I'm wearing green.
Oh, okay. We'll get you a costume.
I can be a bit windy.
It's all there.
It's all there.
ready-made.
It's there for the making. It's there for the taking. So who do you think of as an icon, Suze?
Well, yes, I'm obviously thinking about this because our episode today is called Time for Being Iconic. And I'm very excited about the guest later.
Yeah, me too.
She is iconic. And the people that came to mind were almost uniformly, with one exception, women, which I was interested in as a concept. And so iconic, yeah, it's sort of the ultimate representation of whatever it is that they kind of do or stand for. There's quite a few that I could have said, but the one I'd like to go for in the field of, well, actually, a lot of them are acting, to be honest.
Yeah,
because that's where my head is. Because that's what I would. That's I suppose you're looking at the people or person that for you is the ultimate representation of the thing that is probably most important to you, maybe. So there's several dames, but I'm going to go Julie Walters.
Absolutely.
Dame Julie Waltz.
Correct.
Because, well, one, she's been in several iconic things, but if anyone is ever carrying soup, I mean, I don't know anybody who does, especially two soups, who doesn't start wobbling with them and going, 2 soups. And to be able to represent and just the act of carrying soup for an entire, several generations is just epic. She is brilliant. She's brilliantly funny. And she's worked with amazing people. All her work with Victoria Wood, who is also an icon. Billy Elliot, for me, is up there with one of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
And she's amazing in it. Also, she gave my theatre company £50 once. And I think that her kind of rootedness to where she's from, which is obviously near where we're from, iconic as well.
Well, she actually went to school with my ex-sister-in-law's mother. They were in the same class.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, she is 100% an icon, isn't she? And I every time I pick up a tray, I do it. Every time we've got guests and I take mugs of tea into the lounge, I do it. And just, that is an iconic scene. It's interesting what you said as well, because I noticed with what I was doing that it was pretty much all women I was writing down. And is that because we tend to say women are icons and men are legends? I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
Maybe. I mean, I wondered if it was because it's about representation and we are women, then that you know, if you're looking up to somebody, I would tend to look up or admire. No, I admire men as well, but as a direct line to us.
Yes.
So, because, you know, obviously there's the other dames that I'm not going to mention other people because I'm sure you will.
I don't know if I will, actually. I've got
really?
I wrote my list yesterday and I was sort of, I think it depends what emotional state I am in, depending on what is on my list.
Okay.
So normally on a normal day, I would have written
I thought
Judy,
you were going to have Julie,
Dees, Maggie.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Judy Dench, who listens to The Archers, which I always think is just so cool. That just makes my whole. If I'm ever upset, that makes me happy.
I can't pay the mortgage, but Judy Dench is The Archers.
That's it. The fact that Judy Dench is sitting there.
Yeah.
Dame Maggie Smith, obviously, and I also wrote down Dawn French.
Oh,
I love Jennifer Saunders as well. I then was trying to think about sort of style icons.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the person that always comes to my mind is Grace Jones.
I love Grace.
She's so unique.
Yeah.
And incredible and just sort of unbelievable, really.
When she hula hooped on stage at the
Queen's
Jubilee.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, for an entire song. Isn't she 80 or something? She's insanely good.
Amazing. Yes, that image came to my mind. But she's so stylish and
slightly terrifying as well.
Yeah, I think that is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whiff of fear.
Yes. I think to be really stylish, you probably have to be a bit slightly terrifying.
I think Madonna's quite terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's the one person I absolutely wouldn't know what to say to for fear of looking like an idiot, because I saw Graham Norton. I haven't watched the interview with Graham Norton that she did on iPlayer, but he's been talking about it on shows, and people keep saying, is she terrifying? And he said, absolutely, because if she doesn't like something you say, she'll just stop the interview. So you have to, I mean...
How do you interview somebody like that?
I know.
Because
I know.
The trouble is when you're constantly thinking, I don't want to. You
can't relax.
No, exactly, and then it just becomes not very good.
No.
I have seen some clips. It does seem a bit.
Yeah.
What's the point of this?
What she says at one point on a clip I saw where she says, "Why do you have to know? Why are you asking? Why are you probing?" It's because it's a fucking interview.
Because we want to know everything about you, Madonna. We're
obsessed. This is an interview about you. I don't think we should have her on the show. I don't think I'd be very good with her.
No, she did say she was interested, but
yeah,
I agree. I would feel awkward.
Don't think we'd do her justice. I think I would just become a sweaty mess.
Yeah. I mean, I did think she is on my list as an icon, obviously. The other people, like Baddie Winkle.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Now no longer with us, but she's pretty iconic. And then I was thinking more of someone who's recently passed away, is Paddy Green, who played Jill Archer for 70 years.
Wow.
And is just synonymous with the Archers and Flapjacks and Lemon Drizzle. And she was an amazing woman and brilliantly funny and cheeky and warm and excellent as well, a brilliant actress. And she kind of losing her from the Archers is, it is a big loss, because she's, as well as Peggy Woolley, who was played by June Spencer, who was in the show till she was 103. They're kind of the matriarchs of the village and have been for years and years and years. And so, I think Paddy's last appearance in the show was last year. And she was quite frail by the end, but she still wanted to do it, and she was up for it. And so
I am sorry.
Yeah, but people like, the only man I wrote down was Prince.
Oh yes, yes.
And I always feel sad that I feel sad.
Well, it was just that weird year, wasn't it? 2016, where everybody died.
Well, I was thinking about it today.
Yes,
because it's 10 years on.
Yes,
and it's sort of happening again.
That's exactly what I thought.
Really?
There's suddenly like an influx. Sam Neill's gone, and there's just this sudden, like, what's happening? There's suddenly a lot of deaths been announced in the last few days. It's not obviously not. I mean, that year was Bowie, Rickman, Caroline Aherne, Victoria Wood, Prince, George Michael, Carrie Fisher, and then her mum the next day. I mean,
it was all within about 2 weeks as well, wasn't it? It was
and it was across the whole year, because David Bowie died 2 days after his birthday or something, and then Alan Rickman died the next day or something, and it was just constantly Ronnie Corbett. It was just every time you turn the news on.
Awful.
And I remember watching The Last Leg, and and it had been announced that Carrie Fisher had a heart attack on a plane, and I remember the main presenter, what's his name, Adam, the Australian guy, him saying, "Don't you take Carrie Fisher, you bastards! You can't have her." Just such a weird year, but there is suddenly a lot of people in the last week. Yeah, strange. Strange how it sort of goes in waves.
Yeah. What is an icon? I mean, because we use the term iconic quite a lot now. Well. But as a sort of, it is just a phrase to say, that's really great.
Yeah.
Iconic. And I like it. I do like saying things are iconic. It's a good word.
It is a good word.
True icons. And, I do think with all those people that I've mentioned, there is an age element to them, which is an interesting.
Yeah, there's like a wisdom and an experience, isn't there?
Clutch bags. So, last age bracket. Now you're a proper grown-up. You need a clutch sack.
Perfect for day and night, it fits everything you need to survive a few hours. Self-help book, antidepressants, estrogen, all your many, many glasses, yoga mat, for show never used, emergency chocolate. And if worst comes to the worst, and it usually does, right? You can use it to hide in. Clutch sack for a day spent clutching at straws.
I think if I'd have done my list, I did my list yesterday evening, and I think I wrote a sort of different list. On a normal day, I probably would have written all the people you've written, because they're all my influences as well. And I just think they're all incredible women. But I started off by writing, I started thinking of actually people I knew. And then I wrote literally all the women in my life. And I was so surprised by that. And I was thinking, oh, it's weird that the men don't feature as heavily. But I was thinking, I've got friends who are going through divorces, single parents, building businesses, managing renovations, looking after sick elderly relatives. Like, when I look at all the females in my life, they've all overcome something. They're all juggling parent. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am such a big man woman as well. I love men. I don't like all men are dickheads. I'm just not. I don't subscribe to any generalizations like that. But I was looking at the women and I was thinking, God, years ago, women used to be mothers, or they kept their career. They didn't get to do both. And now we get to do both, which is amazing, and also really fucking hard, because you're managing the emotional side of your kids and stuff like that. But I was just thinking about how strong every woman I know is, and how sort of, when I really stop and look at those people in my surrounding groups, I'm like, oh wow, you're all incredible, sort of juggling so much. And so I wrote down literally all the women I know. You know, like a week out the month you're bleeding, or you're navigating the menopause, and then you're still going to work, and you know, you're still trying to keep your temper and raise the kids and make sure that they are emotionally regulated and that you're emotionally, you know what I mean? It's a lot.
Do you think it's a kind of iconic, as in they are what icons of womanhood? Or
I just thought, what's the first thing that comes into my mind? And then I just started thinking of friends, and then I was like, well, actually, all the women in my life, even when I think of like my aunts or my mum or my daughter and things that they're overcoming, and I just think, wow, there's a steel, isn't there? There's a fierceness, there's a strength, and I think that is iconic. And actually, sometimes that can be really helpful to sort of stand, and I don't know, I just find it really inspiring to stand and look back at the women I know and think all of the things they're enjoying, but they're still keeping going. They're still trying their hardest, doing their best, trying to build businesses, raising kids on all the, you know, I've got some people who have chosen not to have kids or can't have kids. They're all doing, I don't know, it just feels like, made me feel sort of quite warrior-like thinking about them all yesterday. And then I got on to the women I'd like to be, which is Miriam Margolyes and Samantha Jones from Sex and the City. As I get older and my estrogen drops off a cliff, although actually it's still actually really too high. But that's for a different episode. Miriam Margolyes and Samantha Jones, they are so direct, aware of who they are, say what they want, go after what they want, are unashamed of what they want, but are still kind. You know, like I heard Miriam Margolyes talking about pronouns on Graham Norton, and she was saying, you know, I just was saying, well, I don't understand why it just grammatically it doesn't make sense. And she said, and then somebody explained it to her, look, it's better for me, and it doesn't hurt me because I don't identify as one or the other. And she said, and I thought, well, fuck it. If that's what people need, then that's what people need, and it doesn't hurt me. Yes. So, and I just thought, yeah, she's not afraid to ask. She's not afraid to question. And but she does it with kindness. There doesn't ever seem to be any malice. And I think, I'd love to be more like that. And Samantha Jones, I always thought was,
you're super kind.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if I'm all, that's very nice. But I mean, like, I censor myself less than I used to. But when I was growing up, I was always just aiming to be polite.
Okay.
Or hold the room, or make everybody happy in the room, or be what the room needed. And I feel like with those women, there isn't that thing. And that's sort of, I'm getting over that. That's just,
I think it's an age thing, isn't it?
It's an age thing. But with Samantha Jones, I always used to think she was the character I'd least like to be like when I was watching it in my 20s.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, she's unafraid of who she is. She's unapologetic. She's still a kind friend. She does what she can for her girls, but she knows who she is. And I think there's something very powerful and grounded about both of those women. And then my last few that I'd written down was Amal Clooney, just because how is that woman? She's our age, and she's a month. How is she making that work? She's a humanitarian lawyer. I just don't know how she's doing it. Julie Hesmonthal.
Oh yeah.
Hayley in Coronation Street, and then she does that 500 acts of kindness where everybody puts £1 in a month, and then the £500 each month is dedicated to somebody who's maybe lost a family member or something like that. It's just doing good things out in the world. Yeah, all of those things sort of appeal to me. And after seeing her documentary, Kylie fucking Minogue.
Yes, I got Kylie down.
What a woman. And when you look at all the things that she overcame and how she was perceived, and she kept going, and it was there's real resilience, and she's amazing. I always thought she was great, but watching that documentary, I don't know, I've just got even more respect for her.
I need to watch it.
Have you not seen it?
No, I don't watch anything. I don't watch anything. Unless it's The Traitors or a football match that's on too late. I don't watch it.
Yeah.
But I will.
Or to Bridgerton.
I mean, I have got the list of things I haven't watched. I know of things. I sometimes know who's in them. Maybe know who's directed them. Have I seen them? No. There's so many films I haven't seen either. It's sad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just am a cultural kind of desert, really. But I will watch the Kylie, and I also really want to watch the Take That one.
Yes, I've not seen that.
Yeah, so I've got a small list of pop star documentaries that I need to get through.
Well, referencing back to our very first episode, maybe you need a light cold and an afternoon on the sofa. I
do. I just need some time to binge without guilt-free binging. Yeah, Kylie, I think sometimes if you've got one name only, that sort of instantly makes you an icon.
I know that Kylie Jenner tried to trademark the name Kylie, and Kylie Minogue took her to court years ago and said, you can't, I'm Kylie. And so Kylie Jenner just wanted to be the Kylie, and she couldn't be.
Well, she would never be.
No, but then actually, when I stayed at yours, we talked about Kylie, and your daughter didn't know who Kylie was, and then we had to show her videos, and then she knew, and she thought she was marvellous.
But would she know who Madonna was? No,
probably not.
I think it is just, yeah.
Well, somebody asked me recently who the Rolling Stones were.
Oh yeah, why the hell would they know who a bunch of 80-year-olds were?
Yeah,
unless this is where parents have the responsibility to
exactly
give their children a musical education.
Well, my kids will say that, because my kids, like, we've watched Vicar of Dibley and Only Fools and Horses and things like that over the years. So they're quite well-rounded. And actually, my dad did that with me. So I'm very good in a pub quiz, because I know things like the answer to that is Steptoe and Son. Yes. Jefferson Airplane is the answer to that. I remember being in a quiz at school, actually, and it was the song about the White Rabbit. And I remember saying, it's Jefferson Airplane. And I was about 18, and all the teachers were really freaked out how I knew. But it's quite nice sharing that intergenerational stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, B wants to watch Friends now.
Oh, yes. That's my kids were about that age when they started watching Friends.
Yeah. So that.
And you'll probably find, which is what I found, is that you'll start off and go, this is way more sexual than I remember it being.
Yes.
And
I did start watching them again last year, and I was a bit like that. I was like, good grief, it is just about sex.
Yeah, it is. And it's a bit sort of not modern in some of its takes on things. No. But it's very good, and we love it.
As long as we talk about it afterwards, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
No, I love your lists. They're very good.
And I love your lists. They complete my lists.
Yes, together.
They're a comprehensive list of womanhood.
Icon cauldron of wondrousness.
An icon cauldron of wondrousness. That is so poetic. I mean, and you say you're uncultured. I mean, you were at self-esteem at the weekend. That's not uncultured.
She was epic. She
take that
she
a couple of
will be
weeks
iconic.
before.
I know. I'm just
Jet-setter.
around the country watching amazing gigs, getting too tired and then failing to achieve anything else. That's iconic.
That is iconic.
And as my mug says, live my best life.
That's a beautiful mug. I love it.
There's never been a better time to get outside and experience the benefits of nature. Discover nearby trails and explore the outdoors with All Trails. Download the free app today and find your outside.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
And now on ITV 200, it's time to find out who's popped and who's been dropped in the hunt for the fully matured version of the Spice Girls. Welcome to the final of Spice Up Your Midlife. There's been an influx of 90s pop groups reuniting recently, but the Spice Girls can't be bothered to jump on that nostalgia train, so we're on the hunt for singers to replace them. The Spice Women. Last week we said goodbye, my friends, to Collagen Spice and Libido Spice, and in a shock exit that she didn't see coming until it was right under her nose, Varifocal Spice. Let's meet the wannabe Spice Women vying to Viva Forever in our brand new yet comfortingly familiar band. Who are you, and why should you be a Spice Woman? Hi, I'm Classy Spice. I only shop at Waitrose and my Land Rover has never been outside the M25. I won't be able to rehearse much as I'll always be at a yoga class, but I can pout for England, thanks to my dermal fillers.
I'm Energy Spice. I can lift my leg to waist height and I'm top of the park run leaderboard for women over 45 with 2 kids. I'll bring a strong pelvic floor to the group and a Wimbledon-worthy grunt for the sexy songs.
Holla! Next.
Hi, I've only just turned 40, so I've still got relatively pert breasts and 20/20 vision.
Who do you think you are?
Whippersnapper Spice.
Oh, next. About bloody time. I'm not standing here like a lemon all day. If this competition is about objectifying women, you could do one. I've had it up to here with being marginalised, criticised and demoralised. I am Formidable Spice. I speak my mind and refuse to dim my fire for any man or record company executive. Right? The Spice is right. Follow that.
I'm Natural Spice. I've embraced my greying hair, only eat food I've grown myself, travel by donkey, and if I sniff a whiff of AI in any of our music, I will kick off.
Us too. No arguments from me. And finally,
I'm Nigella Spice. I love using spices in my recipes, even ones I've slotted firmly into the microwave.
But Nigella, you've already got your own cookery show and you're the new Bake-Off judge. You're going to be a bit too busy for this, aren't you? Look, if Nigella wants to be a pop star as well, who are we to say otherwise? I'll happily job share, Nige. I'm bloody busy too.
Perfectamundo.
Well, I've always wanted to be a Spice Girl too. Oh, sod it. There's enough room for us all. We can all be Spice Women. Slam it to the left if you're having a good time. I certainly have, and I hope you all have too. It's goodbye from me and the rest of the Spice Women in Spice Up Your Midlife. The last time I saw you, well, I saw you at your gig, but the time before that, you were holding a wooden staff, whacking the shit out of somebody. So, you know, she's not violent normally, Esther. It was a stage combat retreat. It was a stage combat retreat in a Welsh castle.
And I think I was 18, which is just very, very cute.
Today's guest is Starling, pop singer, creative coach, and one of the most genuinely empowering people we have ever had the pleasure of talking to. Starling was told she couldn't sing. She's now a pop star, touring the world and doing it entirely on her own terms. And that tells you everything you need to know about who she is. As a coach, she works with creatives to help them step into their power, silencing their inner critic and backing themselves the way she has learned to back herself, through fire, determination, and an unshakable belief that she was meant to be here. In this conversation, we talk about what it means to truly empower yourself, how to alchemize fear into fuel, overcoming low self-esteem, and how to let people fall in love with you and your work by showing up as exactly who you are. Starling is the very definition of someone who refused to be told no. Welcome to Limited Time Only, Starling.
Today on Limited Time Only, we are thrilled to be joined by pop sensation, motivational speaker, life coach extraordinaire, and all-round Wonder Woman, Starling.
Thank you, Suze. That is quite an intro. How am I going to live up to that?
Oh, easily. I think easily. You're doing it.
I love that. Oh my God.
It's so lovely to have you on the podcast, partly because you're amazing, mainly because you're amazing, but also because I've realised, we've just been chatting, that we've known each other for a very long time, since you were sort of 18 years old, and we were at drama school together, and we've come a long way, baby.
Oh, baby, we have come such a long way. And I think it's almost, if I was 18, it's almost 19 years since we were at the same drama school, essentially.
Yeah.
And I then didn't become an actor. And yeah, I thought that was the whole thing. So life has its way.
Yeah.
So you went to drama school with the intention of being an actor. What changed that trajectory for you when you came out?
Well, it depends how deep we want to go.
Okay. Well, as deep as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, let's just state some facts. I didn't get a lot of work. So on one hand, like, I think I got one agent, and very little work. But on another hand, and this is the deeper answer, I always wanted to sing, but I was told that I didn't really have a good voice. So even, Susie, you may remember this, maybe not, because we were in different years, but like, they wouldn't put me in the MT run, like the musical theatre. They were like, you're a straight actress. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I never loved musical theatre, but I was like, oh, I think I can like sing and tune. But it was never one teacher. When I get interviewed in the past and they say, who was the one? I'm like, it actually wasn't. Like, I'm also one of 6 children, and I would always like sing Spice Girls, and like quite a difficult childhood because I grew up with an addict. And so one of the ways I got through that was like singing, right? Or just like messing around like kids do. And they just said, oh, you know, my siblings, like, shut up, terrible voice. You know, that's what siblings do. So it's not so much a trauma. It's just that the message was, don't sing. Then I get into this drama school, and there were a couple of musical theatre things, although there's a lot of straight acting, wasn't there? Like straight plays. And it was just, don't sing. Anyway, graduated, thought I'd be like famous and go to Hollywood. Of course. And be the next Meryl Streep. And instead I was in a minimum wage bar job in Soho. And a long story short, I started therapy. I was in quite a bad spot actually in my early 20s. And in the therapy and in the kind of journaling and, you know, like self curiosity, I learned to journal quite young, and I would say journaling has probably saved my life. I realized that acting, and it's so cute, for me, I can't speak for other actresses, it was a way of not being me. It was a way of hiding in plain sight. This is over a decade ago now. I think I didn't know that it was a trauma response to become an actress. So when I was crying as a child and there was a lot of violence in the house, I'd always think, well, if I'm famous, the tears aren't wasted. Someone will see me in my pain. Like, I didn't know I was thinking that, but on reflection, that was it. Anyway, when I did the work and started to actually like myself and grow and become courageous, and like I did some singing, I was like, A, I need to sing, and B, I think acting probably isn't for me. I can't speak for other people because it's an escapism I don't need to do anymore. I can just write songs that are autobiographical, and I can release them, and they can go on record, you know, radio or whatever, and I can tour the songs. And that's basically, I've been signed 10 years. That's basically what I've committed most of my adult life to doing.
And there's a thing as well, isn't there? I think that if you have grown up in an environment like that where you can't always be witnessed for crying, you won't always be held or felt or understood. Whereas if you pretend to be somebody else and you perform, or you make people laugh, or you cry, it's applauded, and it's a cathartic experience and a way of getting that that trauma and those emotions out, isn't it? I remember hearing Alan Botan talking and somebody saying, but how do you know you've been a successful parent? Because your children don't want to be famous.
Right. I was literally about to say, I read a quote the other day that ambition is a trauma response, and brought it up with my therapist, and she was like, look, the thing is, and I love her, she's fab. She was like, the thing is, it's not that direct or extreme. Like, it might be like you're looking for your unmet childhood needs in fame and money and being adored externally by the public, but it might also be that it's like really fun to dress up as a pop star, fluffy clothes, or like Susie in your case, I was wearing a see-through catsuit at the Groucho Club for that private party, and literally had like nipple plasters covering, like, that was just for shit. Sorry, I don't know if I'm swear. And actually sometimes
fucking square
let's go blinding. And like, sometimes things are just fun, right? Or like in both of your careers, it's just self-expression for self-expression. I think what's happened to me is at the beginning, it was very much a trauma response and like, let people love me because I didn't love myself. I think as I've done the work and evolved and also just got older, grown up, I still have, I'm sure, some unconscious stuff going on, but mainly I'm doing this for how can I help people? By being more me, does that give more permission to the woman watching me to be more her, to be more audacious? If I write these lyrics, will it help her ask for a pay rise or leave her husband? So it's more about my healing is helping, because all of my fans, it's 85% female. They're all women, and they're all writing to me every week saying, this is what this song made me do. And like a good thing, like
I'm writing to you from prison.
I've had an affair and it's all your fault. Wow. So it's kind of shifted. I'm sure there's still stuff in there subconsciously, but it feels a healthier desire to just self-express. And before I die, because I know the title of this podcast is another reason I was attracted to be on this show, is like, I'm always thinking about death, but not in a heavy way, but just like, cool, if I'm not going to exist, which is an absolute true fact, that is the case for all of us. What could I actually do whilst I'm here? What could I actually do whilst I'm alive? Yeah, I want to wear fluffy clothes or see-through catsuits, but what could I also do to help people that have also maybe had a bit of a rough background or a bit of a tricky time?
And it's brilliant as well that you can, instead of hiding behind characters, you're literally expressing the things you want to say through your songs. And I think the why of that as well, that you want to empower other people and go, look, we've all been through shit, but we can, we're here for one time only. Let's do our stuff now. What do you want to do? Because I read something that you said about, oh yes, I know what it was. It was saying that people construct a life that looks good, but what's the life that you actually want to live? Because it's all about ticking societal boxes or what looks good on Instagram or whatever, but actually what is inside you and what do you actually want to live? And I think that's so important. And it's great. And like you say, now you can dress up and express yourself in different ways and you're making a difference in people's lives. When did you write your first song?
Yeah, so that's a crazy story. So I got discovered by a famous band in this bar where I was on minimum wage. I don't know if you know the story, but I was sort of told I couldn't sing. I think I was entering my mid to late 20s. I wasn't really working as an actor. I was trying to make something of myself. I kind of understood manifestation and that I was just consuming free videos on YouTube of Abraham Hicks in between serving pints in this bar in Soho and just trying to think, like, what could I do? I didn't really have money. I didn't really have much resource or confidence. Anyway, I sung on this kind of, I was serving pints, but then I stood up on the stage and sung. And anyway, the members of 07 were in the audience, which was this band. Do you remember?
Yeah, totally. We were singing it the other day.
Right. But the guy, this Henry and Sam, but Henry was in the audience. And then I got sent to work. I got literally sent in a car a week or two later to Massive Attack, to their hangar in Bristol. And then the next thing you know, I wasn't just vocaling with them or for them, I was writing, because the way Massive Attack write is quite different to other people. So you have to like write as you sing. Whereas normally if we were to write, you would write the lyrics and then cut the vocal.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess I've been in the game 10 years. I learned how to write on the job.
That's amazing.
And then I don't know if you know what the pop circuit is, but I got put in the pop circuit, which is where you go every day to write a song. So you start at like 10, 11 and you have to deliver a song by 6 o'clock to your manager. And it would be like Adele's writer, Ed Sheeran's writer. And I was literally, I had no idea what I was was doing.
Wow.
But I just knew always wrote poems and like journaled because of this therapist that I had. And so I just knew I love words. I just don't really know about song structure. And I guess the best way to learn something is just to do it. And of course I was doing it with Grammy winners, like, you know, these big writers. And then I also learned how healthy pressure is for delivery. Like if you have to do something by 6 o'clock or you've only got 2 days, it'd be 1 day or 2 days they give you. And then you get the demo in. And of course, most people, you know, execs don't have imagination. So you kind of have to produce the demo as well with the writer or producer. So everything, I wrote 300 songs in the first year. Everything was just like fast tracked, and in a nutshell, everything was just amazing, like 2016, 2019. And then the pandemic happened. And so a lot was really, very challenged. Like, bought the house down here because I live on like by the beach. I don't live in London anymore, on the Kent coast near Margate. And so my American tour was cancelled, pandemic, lost loads of money, bought a house, had a mortgage to pay. And on one hand, I'm always like, this is just terrible for my pop career. But on the other hand, which is relevant to us, it gave birth to like my speaking career or like coaching, mentoring. I started to help musicians leave their day jobs so that they could make $3,000 a month from music, so they don't have to work for someone else. And then that's just evolved into like coaching celebrities around stress management and how they manage their team, all the way to just helping people feel safe to be visible. Like even just like female entrepreneurs that are just like, oh, I need more sales. And I'm just like, oh, cool. Yeah, this is probably what you're missing. And it's usually around the courage to be seen publicly. So that's kind of the nutshell, but the journey. But to answer your question with the writing, I now write songs for other people. Anonymously, like for DJs and producers, and I'm a fully fledged songwriter. But right at the start, wow, I don't know, just learn on the job.
I do think it's amazing. What an amazing story. But what is so brilliant is that the trauma, the initial trauma of your, you know, of being a child growing up in that situation, and also the trauma of, you know, following your dream, doing a drama training, and then not succeeding in that. I mean, God, I don't know how I'm still managing. How am I still doing this?
You're a legend. You are a legend.
I'm a weirdo, but it's none of what has happened since would probably have happened if you hadn't had that, and that is when you can say to children, look, failure, not that you failed, but it's the challenges and the difficult things in life lead to the most reward and can give you the character and the ability and the drive to achieve your full potential. Because your potential, I mean, when I look at what you've done and you've achieved and how many people your work touches and your music affects people emotionally and spiritually, and it's incredible. You've really, your existence in the world has expanded so vastly in a beautiful way, and the energy that you give out and onto this planet is just amazing. And it might not have worked like that if nothing gone wrong and, you know, become an instant hit on the West End stage. It just might not have worked out like that.
Isn't that the case that like your wounds become your wings like that? And isn't that the case that like we all don't want pain? Like pain is painful. Pain is it has the ability to derail you so much you don't want to exist, right? Like pain is undescribable, but we know. And yet at the same time, and I heard Robbie Williams say this once in a podcast, and it was something like, the worst thing that ever happened to me was my childhood. But if you also ask me, what is the best thing that ever happened to me? It's my childhood. And I really related to that because on one hand, things were, I mean, to put it bluntly, I was abused. So that's like a horrible thing for anyone. But unfortunately, it's actually kind of common. I'm not making it okay. But I think a lot of people relate, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, to not being nourished in the very home that they should be. And so all of that, like, I wish I could take pain away from humanity, from my past self. And yet at the same time, when you can have the support, and I don't think people talk enough about like what support do you need to turn the pain into power. But if you do have support and if you can find a way through it, who you become is undescribable because you have, I mean, I don't know, I've never had childbirth, but I've never had a child. So I'm imagining like what is one of the hardest things that you can do or feel. But if you can actually alchemize it, you've got that little baby, but also in terms of just pain in general, who you become, if you're in a good spot and you've really worked through it, is a lighthouse, because you want to help people and show people what's possible. And I think that's for me. I don't want to become too like shiny and positive. I want to acknowledge that pain is part of the process and pain is human, but it's kind of what's more interesting is what we do with it. Yes. And who we're becoming. Are we becoming really bitter? Are we becoming the victim? I have a lot of like family members who are like the victim and like, oh, I don't want to be that. Like I have an opportunity to be a victim because of these past things, but I'm like, no, I'd rather be the hero, the hero's journey. How can we always do that? And then of course, because I'm in a very mentally healthy space, it's like, well, what could I do to help people who aren't quite there yet?
Yeah.
With their journey.
Yeah. What I read on your website, but what I think you do, which is so beautiful, is that you have an individual ambition. You have ambition. And of course you want to be successful, but that your responsibility to the collective is such that it means you becoming more successful means that everybody around you also becomes more successful. And I just think that is so brilliant. I'll read the quote from the website. Starling, an independent artist with a global vision to be a voice for hope and possibility. And it really struck me because it's both. It's both. It is possible to have individual success that benefits the whole.
Absolutely, Suze. And I feel like, unfortunately, culture, I don't know where we get this from, but I think it's the scarcity so that, we can kind of be controlled. But culture loves to promote the zero sum of success. So if you've got a number one record, I can't. Or if you, Esther, get £1 million, I can't. Whereas we actually all can get £1 million or a number one record or whatever your version of success is, it's all possible. There is enough for all of us. But I feel like I only learnt that in the last 5 or 6 years from a coach who I paid a lot of money to, rather than actually it just being a way of living. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
What did the coach say to you that changed your thinking around that?
It took me a while, but I think when someone keeps repeating a belief they have, then you can sort of try it on for size. One of the things I do when I'm kind of teaching a talk or mentoring is I say, don't just take my approach to life. Try it on like a costume, try it on like this jumper I'm wearing, and try like a mantra for a week and have that as an alarm on your iPhone popping off each day that everybody loves to pay you. Like, let's say you're not making enough money as an artist. Let's try that on for size. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I've got no money. But actually, if everybody loves to pay you and that's the mantra that keeps going off on your phone, you'll start to find evidence, because that's what we are. We're evidence meaning making machines, right? Confirmation bias, all that stuff. So if I am like looking to buy a yellow car, I'll suddenly see yellow cars. Right? Or if like I get pregnant, I'll suddenly see loads of pregnant ladies, right? Yeah. So it's just very basic neuroscience. But I tried it on for size, Esther. I tried it on for size about this idea that there could be enough for everyone. And then not only did I want to help people, but I was never then threatened. Like one of my clients, this is crazy, but last month, she made £18,500. Wow. In 2 weeks. So we just like tweaked this idea. And I don't feel jealous. I'm just like, great, that's why you hired me. Or like someone getting a record deal, or somebody like finally feeling safe under pressure of performing in front of thousands of people. I'm like, yeah, that's what you're paying me for. So I'm never threatened by the success of others, because I think I tried that belief on for size and I was like, actually, there's evidence that there's plenty.
Yes, it is. In fact, we were talking about this the other day when if I've got friends who were, say, at the National Theatre. And this year I'll have had about 4 friends at the different things at the National. And I love it. I love that because 1, I'm pleased for them. And 2, it shows me that it's possible, because it's about representation, isn't it? And if they're doing it, it's possible to do it. Jealousy is it withers you rather than helps you to blossom, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And my feeling on jealousy is that it's based on the unconscious idea that you can't have what you want. And I don't know what your childhoods are like, but in my very British suburban London suburb childhood, it was I want doesn't get. So you best not really want something, right? Because then you're in for it. Like you're leaving yourself vulnerable. If I want does get, then we're in a whole different place, particularly as women, about knowing what we want and having the audacity to just reach for it.
I'm really interested in a couple of things, really. Like, a lot of people told you couldn't sing. You clearly can sing and you have an amazing voice. What is it that you think they saw at that point that they thought you couldn't sing? You know what I mean? Because you can sing beautifully. And I'll say it now, but we might, as it's like part B. At what point did you feel safe to become visible? Because surely is that why that's part of your work, that now that, you know, you had to learn to be safe to be visible, and then you want that for other people? I know that's a big 2-part question, but.
Oh, no, I love it. I think, I'll come into the safety piece in a minute, because it's such a massive thing that I ended up at the end of last year kind of doing a training or certification in neuroscience of stress and the neuroscience of confidence. So, like, how do you show up? Online when you could get judged, or you could get cancelled, or there's real repercussions, right? It's why people hold back. But to answer your question about my voice, I think there's 2 things. One is I was trying to be something I'm not. So I'd sing big ballads like My Heart Will Go On. Do you remember that in Titanic?
Yes.
5 or 6, and of course I could not hit that note, my friends. And with that was a musical theatre, so it would be like saying to an opera singer, you can't sing pop when she's a frigging opera singer. What are you saying? So for me, I think, because I was going for the musical theatre, the MT, I don't have that. And so when Massive Attack heard me 07, I think they were like, what is that gravel? What is that airy sound, or whatever you want to call it, the tone they always refer to, and that would not blend in. So I would not be a backing. I could never be like BVs. And I couldn't really be MT, although maybe now I've had the training, I could possibly do something in the musical theatre world if I wanted to. But I think there was something around, I was being judged through the lens of an inaccurate genre when I was never going to be musical theatre. The other piece I haven't really shared, and I used to talk about this loads when I was mentoring it, but I've moved away from it, is I had severe stage fright. So when I was singing, if I ever had tried to do a little thing here and there, unfortunately, I went so red and my voice shook so much that I basically just stopped trying. So I had done a couple of things here and there, but I just thought, oh, well, you're going to let yourself down. That's what you're going to do. So why would you open your gob in public when you're not going to hit those notes, right? So something around fear, and I think people picked up on, unfortunately, of course, as a byproduct of my upbringing, I just didn't have much confidence. So I was very, I would believe everyone's opinion. Moving into the visibility piece, in a nutshell, I think that why people don't feel safe to be seen globally, it's normally one of 2 things, but it's either they have been shamed so much as a kid, so whether they just weren't picked for the netball team, or whether there was an actual abusive dynamic, but they just don't want to ever feel that pain again of rejection or judgment. And I think the other thing is some people just don't know how to show up, which is why coaching is amazing. Like, how should we talk to camera? Is that better for you? Or should you be a faceless presence, but still use your voice through quotes and audio? So I think there's sometimes a mixture of strategy. And then there's the energy piece of well, who told you that you couldn't be loved publicly? And one of the phrases I've used in the last month, I began giving a talk actually on the essence of marketing. What is it? 'Cause I fucking used to hate sales and marketing. And it's I put that marketing is allowing people to fall in love with you. And when it's that, it's just, can you show up? Not for everyone, and you shouldn't be. But equally, you don't need everyone to be a client. You don't need to book every job. So you find your people if you can just allow people to love you. And I think that's quite spiritual. I think that can bring up a lot for us.
Somebody said to me once, actually, sales is just being passionate about product or whatever it is and telling people about it. That's literally what sales is. But in my head, it's Swiss Tony from the Far Show.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I mean? It's sort of like when you're on the phone to somebody, or when you go into a shop now and they'll go, do you want a receipt? Or can I have your email address? And I often go, no, can you just not? Can I just have a receipt? Because I just don't want you to be bombarding me with sales stuff. So but actually sales is just have a look at this. It's brilliant. If you like it, buy it. And so once you take that kind of sort of slightly disgusting, cringy, icky version, like edge off it, and realize it's just about showing it. And not everybody is going to love you, and not everybody is going to like it, and that's okay too. That's all right.
Yeah. It just brings up our stuff though, because I think all of us wants us to be totally safe, like, because safety, often we use that word and we don't really know what it really means. Safety is often to feel emotionally safe, just often to be accepted. So to just give you a really basic example, if someone's judging your top or your body size or your size, you feel unsafe, but nothing's happened. They've not held a gun to your head.
No.
So a judgment creates emotional lack of safety. So, of course, if you put yourself all over the internet, which could have, beyond the amount of reach, you never know where it could go. Of course, that provides a threat response in terms of neuroscience. Of course it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly that. It's just passionate. Can you be passionate to share? And even in the face of rejection, can you trust that you'll still get your yeses? The right people will say yes. Yeah, and that's all about visibility, but it's also about courage. And I feel like I only got really courageous at selling, whether it's my shows, talks, whatever, coaching, when I felt really comfortable in who I am. So I think in a way you have to really like yourself, fall in love with yourself before you allow people to fall in love with you.
And how did you do that? What changed?
17 years of therapy. I'd love to say I took a pill and it was all just done. Try ayahuasca. I have stories for that. But no, lots of therapy.
You did try ayahuasca?
Yeah, I did in 2017. Yeah. It was really, really profound, actually. But I did it as part of a psychotherapy thing and integration. And I don't really want to do it again, but I also am really happy I did it. I know some people that go every year, and I'm like, no, I'm still the message that came through. I'm still integrating. But for me, I would say the best use of all of my money, whether I had money or didn't have money, like Susie in the drama school used the student loan on this, was spending on therapy and coaching. So instead of going down spoons, it would be like, could I spend 30 quid, because like a guy buy me a drink, and then could I spend that 30 quid on this therapist I found who just gave me this deal, and he saved my life, changed my life. And then in the end, when I got signed, I gave him the thousands and thousands and thousands that I owed him.
Oh, that's so great.
So he just said, no, you'll make money eventually. And I did. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I think this is the thing that I think we have to be careful not to romanticize the hero's journey. And I'm part of that problem, because I'm all like, yeah, you can do and be anything. And it's like, you can, but I think the missing piece is often support, because you can't always do it alone. I could never have got to this position of confidence without that guy, this therapist, or without these other people saying you should try Vipassana, or you should try trauma constellation therapy, you should try ayahuasca. I tried everything in my 20s because I was so low. I had nothing to lose. I was like, let me try it. And eventually the work, sometimes you get a big epiphany, don't you? You know, when you've done your therapy or coaching and you're like, you literally leave the room different, right?
Yes.
But sometimes growth doesn't work like that. And it takes 10 years to like realize the people pleasing and actually let that like skin just fall off. Sometimes I find growth is so non-linear, but it's still worth investing in yourself, because when you feel that you know yourself, I know it sounds like I'm promoting being selfish, but actually it's the opposite. When you know yourself and you can be interested in your own journey, I feel like you're so okay with you, then you have a lot more to give others. So paradoxically, it's not selfish someone once told me, haven't you nasal gazed enough? I.e. like therapy is nasal gazing. And I was so struck by the lack of emotional awareness that comment had, because I was like, with bad therapy, you're just talking about yourself, for an hour with no self-awareness. But I think with good therapy, if you see a pattern that you have done unconsciously for years and you can break that pattern, your life immeasurably will change for the best.
Yes.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at Wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello, I'm Monica Reinagel, host of the Nutrition Diva podcast. Summer is here, and with it, the hot and sticky weather. A morning working in the garden or maybe on the golf course can leave you more depleted than you realize, and plain water isn't always the most efficient way to restore the balance. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Its science-backed formula is clinically proven to hydrate faster than water alone. Whether you're exercising, playing outside, or simply surviving a summer heat wave, it's an easy way to stay hydrated. Shop now at liquidiv.com. Liquid IV, hydration that goes wherever life takes you.
Absolutely.
It can take a sentence. It can take, because I think, I mean, I'm 48 now, and we both are. Esther's also 40.
Fuck, she just
Sorry, I know she's 40 years younger, but I'm revealing a true age.
27.
But I'm finding recently quite a lot that somebody will say something to me, quite an innocuous sentence in a way, or point something out, and it will drop in my head like a penny into a slot, and then this little curtain will come back and go, da-da! That's what you've been hidden all this time. And I'm thinking, God, this is just going to keep happening throughout my life. I mean, it's not, because obviously that you have different challenges as you go through, but I am being struck at the moment by these moments of it's an epiphany, and I'm thinking, why have I been thinking about that for 20 years? And suddenly it's like, oh, that's why I do that, and now I can put that over there, and I'm okay with that now, and I'll move forward, and then there'll be another curtain that I have to get through. But yes,
but it's weird, isn't it? Because you sort of assume by 48. When I was younger, I thought, well, by this age, it'll all be sussed. And to be honest, I've had donkey's years of therapy as well. And then suddenly something happens and you go, oh, hang on, this is throwing stuff up for me that, like, so for example, last week I had I'd started this new thing called March House, which is about creativity and empowering yourself and putting your work out there and leaning into your creativity. And I said, put your work out. No one knows it if they don't see it. And I put this old video that I made years ago, just on a whim. I was like, I'll share one. And it's an old comedy character that I did many years ago. And over the last week, I've gained over 2 accounts, 1,000 followers. I have, it's had over 150,000 views. It's got like 600 comments, but also, so I was so excited and I was on this dopamine. I was just responding to everyone. And then I got like 2 or 3 comments that were like, stop whinging, because they thought it was a real person. But then on the other end, I got a couple of women going, don't ever do a Scouse accent again. It's awful. And so you've got this sort of, but every other comment was, you have made my day. You have made me laugh. You have made me, and it's so interesting, the stuff that has thrown up for me that I thought that I had dealt with. And then I'm going, oh, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I want anybody to look at me. I don't know if I want any feet, and you think, oh shit, I thought this was all worked through. And actually I quite like finding out and trudging through and going, oh, well, here's another thing. Let's dig that out and get rid of that. Understand it. And once you understand it, you can move on and integrate it. Like Sue says, the curtains part, and you go, oh, okay, I get this now, finally. And it's fascinating.
When you find, Esther, when you find the breakthrough or the epiphany, that then life has this remarkable way of never giving you that lesson again.
Yes, totally.
I had this amazing ability in my 20s to shag anyone who was unavailable. Like, it was a remarkable thing, because there's a lot of men in London who are available, but I had this amazing ability to find anyone that would really not want a relationship. It's amazing. And as I did the work on my father wounding and this and that and the divorce, and bless my dad, he had to go because of the divorce I was age 6 or 7, I realized I was unconsciously doing this then in my kind of relationships or whatever it is. And as soon as I had, it actually was an overnight epiphany. It was a few years, but as soon as I had the epiphany, I met my husband, and he is 100% not only available, but he's just willing to get in the trenches and do the work. So it's amazing. And same with money. I had huge money. I had like 50 grand debt. I had huge money issues, being an artist, of course, and low self-esteem. And then as soon as I solved that, then it's not the same stuff hasn't happened.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what is that? Like, life is a
Yeah.
trip. So I'm sure there's some kind of, you know, some neuroscience behind that, but it's remarkable, isn't it? When this is why I love therapy and coaching, is when you bring awareness to the psyche and you find corners, like the comment that maybe you were like, oh, I didn't know I have this in the corner of my psyche that actually needs resolving. I just love that it's a never ending adventure and like a journey of curiosity. And of course, which most people don't understand unless they do therapy, if you're interested in you and like what has just come up for you, you can then have more compassion as an actress, as a speaker, as a friend, as a partner, as a mother, because you actually get it. And I think that's the thing, like back to the pain thing when I was younger, like, of course, I wish that hadn't happened, but because it did, it makes me feel very much for people, like the compassion of what it's like to be suicidal, what it's like to feel like you're worthless, what it's like to feel like you're never going to amount to anything. Like, because I've been there.
It's a gift, really, isn't it? And it's I know some people would think it's quite a twisted thing to say, but it is almost like it's this flip side, like you said at the top of the show. It's awful, and you wouldn't wish it on anybody. However, it's turned you into a ray of light who is empathetic, who creates songs, who can self-express, who understands people, who wants to put the work out into the world that will make a difference. And I think. Yeah, and it's awful that anybody has to go through anything like that, but it does, like Sue says, it gives you resilience. It gives you, and some people never. It's the richness of life. It's the richness of life. Some people never have any negative experiences, but also nothing really. They don't feel those highs and lows. They don't understand why somebody would want therapy or want to explore stuff. Or I just think it gives you a little extra. Like light and desire to do the best you can in the world. And I think, and I think it is a gift. It's just a shame that you have to experience the trauma in the first place.
Yeah. I was going to talk about the idea of your music as pop therapy, which I love that phrase. I've never seen that before, but totally, because what I think about music, and I mean, I'm not a musician. I sing in a choir, which I adore. And that is therapy. I mean, I pay to go. They want to get rid of me, but they can't. No.
Hang on. I want to stop. Can I stop you? Susie's actually got a beautiful voice, and she will always criticise herself about her singing.
We're not going to
she needs to stop it because that's
therapy needed.
Yeah.
But the pop therapy. But I think music has music is the one art I feel that can hit you straight in your emotional centre. One note. Bam. No other art form has that capability, I don't think. I mean, you can look at a painting, but it takes a little moment to look at what's going on. You can watch a piece of drama. Again, you've got to know what's going on. You've got to work out who the characters are. That music goes bam, straight there. And every single one of your songs, and they are catchy and immediately what I've written down, immediately catchy anthemic pop. I mean, they are brilliant. And pop therapy, that's me wanging on. Can you tell us about where that idea came from?
This marketing tip on the catchy anthemic, I'm like writing it really fast.
Noted.
People called it that. Oh, how did that name come about? I guess people always know that, like, unless you're deep, you're not really going to like the music. And I do these house concerts as well, and they're just like, everyone just loves to talk deep, like we're doing now. And like, honestly, if someone's not particularly interested in their own inner world or their own struggles or their own, hunger for life, I think they probably won't find a place in Starling's world. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're just here for the baby in the club kind of music, I'm probably not for them. So I think what the therapy piece came through, and there's a specific woman, she left an abusive marriage when she heard the song Queen. And so when she said, "You are my free therapy, and without this song on repeat 17 times a day, I'd never have left him," I was like, oh, okay, that's probably more than music. And I think that's probably how this kind of got coined, how it came together. And to your share, Esther, I was thinking, and I just made notes on this regarding the pain into power and how that kind of gives us some light or life force if we can alchemize it. Something I was saying on Instagram the other day is like, bruises heal, depending on your background, but if you've had a bit of a rough ride, the bruises heal, but your self-esteem doesn't. And then I tried to lead into to say, and I want to say this today because it feels important, particularly for us women and hopefully women that are hearing this, is that you must raise your standards. And I find that as someone who's had basically a lot of PTSD or CPTSD, one of the main things was actually not the bruises, metaphorically or otherwise. Okay, that's fine. You can kind of move on. The thing that is the challenge is how low your self-esteem is. Why is this dangerous in the world? Because if you've got low self-esteem, you accept shit men and shit pay and anything else that, you know, whether it's money, relationships, whatever else is making up your life. And for me, I would always, particularly in my 20s, accept doing free work, particularly in the, you know, the theatres, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll just be like, I'll cover your expenses. And yet you're meant to pay $2,000 a month rent in London with like thin air, like, and the expenses didn't even come through some of the time, you know what I mean? Yeah. So here's the thing about raising your standards. It's easy to say, I should raise my standards. But the challenge is then when the world keeps saying no. So let's say you go from being like 50 quid for your gig, you're a singer, and you want to now charge 5K for your gig. The challenge is how to say that and have a nervous system that has the capacity with that much conviction and confidence that someone says yes, and then that becomes your new standard. And it's the same with men. I'm talking hetero because I'm hetero, but it could be any partner, right? Is like you accept crappiness if you don't think you could get better. And for me, I've had to, and this is very recent stuff, still hard to articulate. I've really had to go, no, I'm not taking that as a fee. I actually would rather not do it. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than crap, I'm like, no, this is my price, is my price, is my price. Or like with Ed, I know it's a long-term relationship now with my now husband, but 10, 11 years in, we've had a lot of sticky moments. He won't mind me saying this. And I'm like, no, you don't speak to me like that. And he said certain things to me as well. He's like, no, we're not doing that. And that is the thing with raising your standards is you can't just change one aspect of your life. Life is like a web. So if you're raising your rates, so, you know, the health of your bank balance, you can't not improve your sex life. Like everything is connected when you raise your standards and when you see yourself as someone that's worth more.
And like you said earlier, courage, that takes courage. So if you
and
can
support, buy the coaching or buy the therapy, like stop spending it on a takeaway and saying, I've got no money, like find that 50 quid or that 500 quid, just like, unless you're seriously on the breadline, but like find that, don't make excuses for not looking in the mirror. Because if you can be courageous to look in the mirror, identify your patterns, through that awareness, you can change them.
Totally. And I mean, in the last few years, I would say in my 40s, I think actually having my children changed something within me. I've mentioned this on the podcast once before, but I used to be terrified of blood tests. It's just as simple as this. I used to pass out if I had a blood test. And then I went to have a blood test when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was sitting outside and I was like, oh, fucking hell. Oh God, I'm going to be sick. And something inside me went, no, this isn't about you. This is about your child. Get in there and do it. And then that sort of flipped it. So sometimes, and I will do this with friends as well, if they'll say, I don't know if I should do this, or I don't like my job, or I don't. And I will say, if they've got kids, I will say, what would you advise your child to do? And they go, oh God, that hit me in the chest. And I go, yes, because we have to take care of ourselves like that. And I don't have it currently, but I used to have a photograph of me as a child and like on my phone, and I have to advocate for her. And as I've got into my 40s, I do turn things down now. And at first it was horrible, and sometimes it still is horrible. And then I did some work recently, and I charged quite a lot of money for it, and I felt really icky about it, but I still knew I was actually probably not charging as much as anybody else. And once I'd done that, I was like, okay, I did quite a lot of work there. I actually think I could have charged more money. And it's just being brave and courageous and taking that step, isn't it? And then going, okay, but like you say, you kind of need that support or something just to hold you.
Cheerleader. Like the thing I always teach is coaching is for the future. So therapy is for the past, meditation is for the present, and coaching is for the future. And when you think of the three segments, you do not hire a coach, I don't believe, to deal with the childhood. That's therapist. But equally with therapist, I wouldn't expect them to strategize the new launch plan of my single, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what are we hiring who for? And this is why I'm a big kind of, promoter that invest in yourself, because you can't not improve your life. And then if your life's improved, everyone around you. Now I've sort of stuff out. Children, if I have them, will not have such a wild relationship with money. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like a healthy marriage where it is not with addiction. And do you know what I mean? So it's like, how can we not pass all this to our children? She says, I don't have children, but my imaginary children.
Your friends' children or anybody. I think
or
that's
fans,
our
like my followers.
our responsibility to the people, coming up, but behind us is so vast.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So that's why healing has a ripple effect. Yeah.
I was going to say, we had an artist, Nadia Tour, on a while ago, and she decided, she knew she wanted to be an artist, but it wasn't until they were having their daughter that she said, I'm going to make this my income for her, and I am going to be an artist. And that makes me cry every time I've spoken to her about it. It's amazing. But she did it, and that was what gave me my impetus. I often think, well, hang on, what would I tell my kids, or what example do I want to set, or that little girl inside? But actually, I don't know. I hope I would have got there without that sort of motivation, that motivator. But you did do it without that, and that's magnificent that you have managed to nurture that little girl inside you and give her what she needed. Well, they say, don't they, you become, oh God, I'm going to cry.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to cry.
Oh, you become the parent, you become the person that you needed when you were a child.
Don't make me cry now.
Starling, I'm
just have a cry.
Oh my God.
But you do, and so, and it's it's great. It's amazing that you got to that point without that sort of that impetus. I'm so sorry. Oh dear.
But again, rather than, although I love these compliments, rather than just accepting them, I'd like to say that I was very lucky to find people that would help me. They helped me. That I wouldn't be here without that support. I did have a hunger to try to shift this pain. I didn't know really I just never believed I would be pain free. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was so haunted by just horrible stuff. But I was, and I think that's what I need people to hear today is, like, we talked about epiphanies and how they can just like come, boom, done.
Yeah.
Like you were saying with the doorway, Susie, or whatever. And yet we also know, like we were also saying, that sometimes you just got to put in the work and trust that the light will come.
That only comes, that curtain only opens because it's been there, and this, the not being dealt with, but being aware that it's not being dealt with, because it's
And sometimes you need the space.
It's hugely complicated.
Yeah, I think the key thing is that anything left is never resolved. Anything brushed under the carpet is never, ever going to get better. The mountain will just become higher, deeper, worse. And so I think the courage to look in the mirror is really super key, because leaving anything, whether it's not having that conversation in your marriage or whether it's not sorting out your finances because they feel too scary, it's never going to shift unless you have the courage. And this is why I think that doing it with 2 people or 3 people, that support you looking at your finances or whatever the thing is, it makes you feel safe rather than alone. Yes. And rather than ashamed of like, oh my God, I've got this thing. No, most of us have issues with money or marriage, or, like, that's normal. So let's just normalize it and look at like, okay, if I want to figure out this, if this is my goal this year, what support do I need?
Yeah. And so your music career, so you got signed 10 years ago. I noticed that 10 years ago you were wearing a lot of white. You were pre-Jerry Halliwell, before Jerry Halliwell was Jerry Halliwell, always in white.
What? I know, I only wore one colour. Like,
what was that about? Just why
I
not?
wish I could tell you a reason. I just fancied it, and I thought it looked kind of cool because even the sock, the shoe, everything was one colour.
Yeah.
So you signed. So tell us all about your music career.
So I got a deal, then I got another deal, and then I think I got another deal. And then I'm now independent, because although I liked some of the money and the marketing, I struggled with creative control. This is very common. So I'm now independent, which essentially means I have management and I have a team, stylist, publicist, all of that. But it essentially means I am self-funding, or we're about to get investment, but self-funding my music. So on one hand, that's really hard, like, because things cost to promote and to make. But on the other hand, I own my masters. So I own my IP, my intellectual property. So it depends what you want to trade off. It's not that labels are bad, but it just depends what you want to trade off. So I'm now independent, and my debut album is finally coming out in 6 months. And it's literally coming out in secret form just for fans, like just for my mailing list. And then it will eventually come out to the public. So we're doing this whole this whole private secret thing. And yeah, I mean, essentially the rest of this year looks like releasing more singles, doing more house concerts, then doing like a headline show in Soho end of the year. And then, yeah, and this album will, after 10 years, this album finally come out and I own it.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the name of it or not yet?
I can't. I know I've been on. I'm so sorry. But I will.
That's all right.
First to know, because I think you're on my mailing list, but you will know.
It's very brilliant. And well, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I saw you performing at the Groucho Club, that the first single from the new album, Cupcake. And it was a small room, which with a lovely audience who all know and love you. But you absolutely, it was like, I felt like I was kind of at Wembley Stadium or something, or at the O2. I was the presence and the energy that you exude. I was like, oh my God, I want to get my lighter out. I mean, it was terrific.
I think there was like 50 of you. Thank you so much for saying that.
It was brilliant. And it was and everyone was so, in it. We were dancing and the music was amazing and your performance was incredible. In terms of, do you think your acting training has helped with that? Kind of,
I really do, and it's so hard to like tangibly see the ROI, because on one hand I'm not doing the traditional stuff, but on the other hand I think stagecraft is stagecraft and everything amounts, like compounds. I think on the other hand, I'm sorry to keep beating on about this therapy stuff, but I think when you feel comfortable to stand up on stage and you can feel safe to just be you, I think that therapy stuff helps you. I feel like when you feel safe to speak or sing or whatever, I feel like the audience around you feels safe.
Yes,
because the thing with the music is it is so personal, and you can tell that it's been written from from reality and from your heart, and that is what's so effective. And it immediately forms this kind of, it's just this like golden thread between you and the audience, because it's hitting them. It's straight there. It's right into the solar plexus, and it's truth. It feels like truth. And you could only do that if you felt comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, I feel really comfortable. And again, don't get me wrong, I still do get stage fright. I do get nervous, but because I have done all this training on how to feel, it's like somatic, so body kind of, it's not therapy talking, it's like these exercises I trained in last year with neuroscience. In under 60 seconds, by just like moving your tongue or moving your eyes, your cortisol level drops. And if you've heard about this, and so I've just learned about like basic like tapping, you might have heard of, that would be a similar thing. But this NSI training I had was really like, how can I help myself in under 60 seconds feel safe when I feel nervous? And then of course, how can I help my mentees with that? And so when I play bigger stages, I can feel scared, but equally I feel like, because fear almost ruined my life, because stage fright was almost the thing that destroyed this dream, like that stopped me starting. I feel like because I've then committed my life to how can I alchemize fear, I feel like that is the Jedi level of someone's career or life, is like, how can you work with your own fear? And you often can't think it. If someone says feel safe or like stop having stage fright, it doesn't work. But if you can literally, like, I can show you an exercise in a minute, but if you can literally do this eye movement that then makes you feel safe, or tapping or whatever it is that makes you feel safe, then actually there's nothing that's going to stop you, because you can handle no matter what size room or what opportunity you'll deliver. And I think for me, I can never trust that I would deliver under pressure, because fear for me just felt so all-encompassing that I would freeze and I would not really shine. And so that's something I've been working on. It's hard to show the somatic exercises on a podcast, because but you kind of get what I mean. And I can help if people are interested in that mentoring. I can help people.
Well, this little bit will go on YouTube as well.
Great.
So we can, But I've been doing something with my son recently, who's 7, when he gets really sort of a bit panicky or anxious. He stands in front of me and I put my hands under his arms and across his chest like this, so across the front of his chest, he's pressed against me, and I tap his shoulders. He absolutely loves it. It really
That's one
works.
of the things I had in my training, the butterfly hug.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
okay.
brilliant. Yeah. And one for you guys, like if you're ever like, oh, it's a tight month, or if someone's done something weird or they've just cut you up on the motorway, is if you twiddle your tongue, like a circle from either way, left to right, whatever, 3 times, almost like you're trying to get food off your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Or continue a circle for 3 times and then 3 ways the other way. So it's 6 in total. You might start to yawn. That will drop if you're feeling a bit heightened. Yes, Esther. So there's lots of them, but I've got 52 exercises, and that's one of them that I would do if I was looking at a budget and feeling stressed about a budget, or if I was feeling like my husband pissed me off or something. I would do that in a traffic jam or an argument, and suddenly you're back in the room, drops the cortisol levels, because the tongue is attached to the vagus, and the vagus is the longest nerve in your nervous system.
Wow. What's the yawning about?
The yawning just means that you've dropped into more presence. So it's a sign that it's worked and that you've got a positive response. Whereas I do some like eye exercises with people, and it works for some and not for others. So all the different areas of the body you could do, like yours, Susie, you could do hand, you could do skating. They're all nervous system regulation tools. Eyes, I really like moving my eyes and circular movements with my eyes, which I can show you another time. But sometimes you can't do that if you're driving, whereas a tongue twist you can do even when you're nursing your child. So they're all different. They're 52 exercises. And normally when I coach people, rather than going straight into strategy, I actually just do like a prescription of like, all right, try the tongue twist for 5 days in a row, put an alarm on, and then notice your stress levels by next Monday.
Yes.
So that's kind of the somatic aspect of the work. How can you feel more present and safe? And then there's obviously a strategy piece. But when you really think about a great career or great parenting or great friendship, it's about presence. And often we can't be present when we're overloaded with all the stresses of life. So this kind of just brings you a bit more into presence, which of course is what you want, whether you're giving coaching or whether you're doing a voiceover. You know. That's the greatest gift you can give someone is your presence.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Well, look, we have to stop, which is a shame because I literally talked to you all day.
I don't really want to stop. We could do this for another.
No, I know. Unfortunately, I've got to go get my eyebrows done. But
amazing.
We will have to finish. But it has been amazing to speak to you. I mean, I know that everyone listening will have got a lot out of this, and I know that Esther and I have. I mean, we're just like wrapped. It's been amazing, and so you've got an album. Your album is coming out later this year, which people will be able to find eventually. Sign up for the mailing list. I think is the key takeaway there. We are already signed up, so we'll have first.
Oh, you're legends. Yeah, I would say 2 things. If people feel that they resonate with the message or my work, just go to the Instagram. It's Starling's World. STARLING world, or starlingsworld.com is the website, and you can just pop your email every fortnight with like updates, but you can always choose your preferences about whether you want to hear about the singing or tours or coaching and go from there, or this album.
And you can see some of Starling's songs on there and videos, and it's a beautiful website as well. I love a lovely website. It's like I'm in. I've been there for a while.
Like social media has taken the forefront, but I'm like a 90s chick, so I'm like, just bring me a website.
I love a nice website to just walk around a bit and have a
navigate.
Yeah.
You guys said mooch at the same time.
I know, that was weird, wasn't it?
That was weird. Yes, thank you so much. It's been just glorious to talk to you. We've done all the emotions.
Cry, and I think that is just fabulous. Now the rest of my afternoon is going to be incredible. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
You have been listening to Limited Time Only.
Well, in what might be described as an iconic move, Esther and I didn't record an outro for this episode, so you've just got me and my Sprout headphones. We thought they deserved their own little slot, so it's a shame they can't answer back, but they are looking really resplendent on my head and they haven't wilted in the heat, unlike me. Thank you so much to Starling for that brilliant interview. It was an absolute joy to speak to her. If you watch it back on YouTube, you will see our faces are just hooked on. We're locked on
as my daughter would say, and then would tell me to not say because it's cringe, because only people under 15 can say that. But I'm saying it again, we were locked on. It was great to have that time with Starling and to get some of her insight and advice and the inspiration that sort of radiates out of her. She is fantastic. Please do check out her website, starlingsworld.com, and go on Instagram and have a look. Her videos, her songs are brilliant. They will give you a boost. So combine that with listening to Limited Time Only, and you're just going to be on cloud nine, I'm telling you. But it was a great joy to speak to her, and we're thrilled with what came out of that interview. And thank you to you all for listening to this full episode of Limited Time Only. We will be back next week and for the next few weeks with what we're calling the summer season. Rather than killing ourselves making full-length episodes for a few weeks while the children are on holidays and we're trying to take a break ourselves, we're going to be giving you a few more briefs. So you're going to get lots of different topics over the next few weeks in shorter form. And we hope you enjoy those as much as we enjoy recording them. And we look forward to seeing you back with more full-length episodes in September. In the autumn, it's been back to school, back to full-time, limited time only. And enjoy the sun. And thank you for listening. Ta-ra a bit from me and my Sprout headphones. And Esther, but she's not here. But I'll say bye from her anyway. Shut up, Susie.
Hello, I'm Monica Reinagel, host of the Nutrition Diva podcast. Summer is here, and with it, the hot and sticky weather. A morning working in the garden or maybe on the golf course can leave you more depleted than you realize, and plain water isn't always the most efficient way to restore the balance. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Its science-backed formula is clinically proven to hydrate faster than water alone. Whether you're exercising, playing outside, or simply surviving a summer heat wave, it's an easy way to stay hydrated. Shop now at liquidiv.com. Liquid IV, hydration that goes wherever life takes you.
That refresh you've been putting off until the right deal came along? It's here! Wayfair's Black Friday and July sale is happening now, so you can finally get the style you've been waiting for less. Get up to 80% off area rugs and up to 60% off outdoor and bedroom furniture. Shop Wayfair's huge selection of styles and find the piece to fit your style, budget, and space. Plus, free shipping. Black Friday in July ends July 27th. Shop today at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
A great deal or more safety? Why choose? Mazda has been awarded more 2026 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand as of June 2026, and has been named Consumer Reports' safest new car brand. Right now, you can drive one home for less at the More to Move You sales event. Mazda, more for you. Go to MazdaUSA.com to learn more. Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
Take advantage of exceptional offers during the More to Move You sales event.
This podcast is part of Podomedy, the UK's podcast comedy network. Why not laugh at what else we've got? Visit Podomedy.com.